It's that time of year. We're right in the middle of early fall and Christmas. This is the bridge beer to those seasons. We've already released into distribution and at the tap room, our pumpkin ale, our Oktoberfest, and then just recently Twitchy, pumpkin pie spice, coffee beans, and habanero. Then it's hot chocolate with marshmallows, and then after this beer is the March of Christmas beer releases in a couple of weeks. I know I don't make the calls on these. It's the box stores and bars that want. It's Christmas, first or second week in November, and we're rapidly approaching that. So let's get this bridge beer released. Now, hot chocolate with marshmallows. This is an 8% milk stout. We released it for the first time in distribution last year, and super successful at 3.98 on Untapped. For this year, our distributor did some pre-orders with their sales rep all over Ohio, and they ordered a record 80 barrels in one pickup. So this was our biggest single production run of a flavor we've done to date. So people, this is growing on people. It's different. I mean, hot chocolate with marshmallows. Most people don't think it's a habanero beer until they drink it. Like, oh, it's kind of nice. It's different. It's not a lot of heat. It just builds up and then hangs out. So don't be scared of it. It is already on the shelves. Our distributor picked it up maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We held back this release because we were waiting for fall to actually happen. I mean, technically it was fall, but it was still in the 80s. You know, we take things seriously. It went against our hearts to release this type of beer when it's still 80 degrees routinely. This week's the first week where we're solidly in the 60s. You wake up, it's mid-50s. It may bump into the 70s by the afternoon. Then once the sun goes down, it's back into the low 60s, 50s. So you guys are lighting fires in your backyards, having marshmallow roasts. So this is now the beer you need for those events. Now let's go into the recipe a little bit. What makes it hot chocolate with marshmallows? Well, there's 2 ways we bring the chocolate part into this. The first one is with the grain selection. So after we get our base grains, we go to our specialty grains. You got your caramels, your chocolates, your roasted barleys. For our specialty grains, the chocolate malt is the one that's in the biggest proportion. So that brings its own chocolatiness to it. The other thing we use is 2 pounds of cocoa nibs per barrel. We're talking about 80 barrels, it's 160 pounds. That's like a lot. So the cocoa nibs will bring on like a milk chocolate, sometimes a dark chocolate. It also depends on the origin of the cocoa nibs, much like coffee beans. We've just started experimenting with different origins of cocoa nibs, but we did compare this against the one we had last year. We still saved a few of those. And one thing to consider when keeping beers to age, most stouts are good to age, but if it's a coffee stout or a cocoa nib stout, those are going to be in their prime for the first 3 or 4 months. Then the coffee's going to fade or turn into something weird. And the cocoa nib's going to change. It's still chocolate, but it may not be a chocolate you like. Like it starts off as milk chocolate. Maybe by the next year it's going to be like Hershey's Special Dark. Now I like dark chocolate over milk chocolate, but most consumers like the milk chocolates. So you may want to sit on it to see how those flavors develop. And then the habanero, that changes from year to year, so it could be a little bit more spicy, a little bit less. Let's see how this held up against what we tasted last year. So the first thing I get from here is the marshmallow. Because there's marshmallows in there. You can't have hot chocolate without marshmallows. smell is not too chocolatey. The marshmallows first, it's going to be on the flavor that you're going to notice the change. You get that chocolate first. By your second sip is where the habanero starts kicking in. Doesn't kick in, slowly creeps in, it builds up to a threshold and then just kind of hangs out. It's not nearly as strong enough to make you want to drink beer in between, drink other beer, drink water in between sips, or heaven forbid, a glass of milk to coat the heat. So not like that, just a nice warmness. And being a milk stout, our other ingredient is lactose. That's a milk protein. It's unfermentable, so it'll bring some sweetness. It's not a powerful sugar, so you know, so much of it, it's not the equivalent of like the sweetness of table sugar or something like that. It's a little bit of a weaker sugar, so it brings some body to the beer. It brings some sweetness, so that adds the whole hot chocolate. So now, solid beer. I'm not sure if I prefer this year's or last year's any better, but this is definitely a good one. And like I said, it's already been on the shelves. You may have run across it, but we're releasing it at the Canal Place this weekend. So we hope to see you.